You know what cracks me up? People who say they love America but hate everything that actually made America. They love the flag, they love the anthem, they love the fireworks, they love the idea of the country. But the minute the country starts speaking Spanish, or eating tacos, or any other food with seasoning, or dancing to a music that requires hips that I can't do, suddenly they're clutching their pearls like a founding fathers just rose from the grave and asked for subtitles. Let me explain something slowly for the folks in the back who still think Ellis Island was a gated community. Here are a few things that America is not. A tribe, a race, a bloodline, Kennedys, a language, and most importantly, America is not an HOA with a dress code and a language requirement. America is an idea. And the most radical thing about that idea is that anybody can become part of it. You come here, you work, you build, you leave people alone. That's the contract. It's it. This is not a progressive talking point. This is not a conservative talking point. This is a libertarian talking point. And that's the most libertarian thing about this country. We were founded on the radical idea that peaceful people should be free, even if they eat weird food and pronounce jalapeno correctly. Because if you actually believe in freedom, then you believe that a peaceful people should be free to live, work, trade, and build a life without asking permission from a bunch of politicians who couldn't run a lemonade stand without forming a subcommittee. Immigrants didn't weaken America. They built it, while everyone else was arguing about who gets to take credit. Pizza? Immigrants. Hot dogs? Immigrants. Blue jeans? Immigrants. Google? Immigrants. The iPhone you're using to complain about immigrants? Designed by a son of a Syrian immigrant. So, you know what else immigrants gave us? A work ethic, risk tolerance, and the terrifying habit of opening businesses instead of complaining on Facebook about gas prices and pronouns. Half of the stuff in your house, half of the food in your fridge, and half of the music on your playlist exists because somebody showed up here with an accent and a work ethic. That's not cultural decay. That's cultural horsepower. America isn't a museum, it's a forge, and every generation throws something new into the fire. People say immigrants are taking jobs. Well, yeah, the ones nobody applies for because they feel that the task is beneath their dignity. The ones that require sweat or math or waking up before noon. Now let's talk about immigration the way libertarians actually see it, which means talking like adults instead of the cartoon version that cable news puppets argue about. Libertarians believe in borders. We believe in law, but we also believe something revolutionary and therefore radical. Peaceful people are not the enemy. If someone wants to work, trade, pay rent, raise kids, and not bother anybody, why the hell is the federal government treating them like Pablo Escobar? Newsflash, government can't stop fentanyl. Government can't stop the cartels. Government can't stop drones over military bases. But they sure can raid a dishwasher at a taco truck. Real impressive. Give them a medal. Because here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. The question isn't, do immigrants change America? Of course they do. The real question is, why are so many Americans afraid of change in a country whose entire identity is change? You don't get jazz without immigrants. You don't get rock without immigrants. You don't get Silicon Valley without immigrants. Hell, you don't even get the Statue of Liberty without immigrants. That giant green lady in the harbor, she's literally welcoming them. We put our national values on a billboard 300 feet tall. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And now people are mad because someone actually read it. Here's what gets me. Some of the loudest people screaming, "Go back to where you came from," are only one generation removed from somebody who got off a boat, couldn't speak English, and thought deodorant was optional. History really does have a sense of humor, and it's a mean one. People love to talk about the American melting pot until that pot actually melts. They say they want assimilation, but what they really want is imitation. They don't want immigrants to become Americans. They want immigrants to become them. But that's not how this works. That's never how this has ever worked. What the Super Bowl halftime show did, what moments like this do, is remind people of something powerful. America is strongest when everyone is pulling in the same direction, not when everyone looks like they have to be the same. Different languages, different music, different food, same freedom. That's the American melting pot, not erasing culture, combining it. America didn't become great because everybody became English. America became great because everybody became American. And American means mixing things together until something new comes out. Jazz is a mix. Rock is a mix. Tex-Mex is a mix. Hell, the English language is basically 3 languages in a trench coat pretending to be grammar. And if you're still not getting the analogy, remember, steel isn't weaker because it's mixed. Steel is stronger because it's mixed. Here's the part that nobody wants to admit out loud. The people who are terrified of immigrants aren't really terrified of immigrants. They're afraid of change. It's walking into a grocery store and hearing another language. It's realizing the country doesn't belong to one culture anymore. It's realizing that it never did. They're afraid of losing control. They're afraid of a country they can't freeze in amber, afraid that the next generation might look different, speak differently, think differently, and still be just as American, maybe more so, because America was never meant to be a museum, and some people are furious about that. They want the country frozen in time, like a Norman Rockwell painting where nobody speaks Spanish, nobody argues, and nobody remembers who picked the crops. But America isn't a painting. It's a construction site. It's loud, it's messy, and it's full of people who just showed up and are still trying to figure it out. And the truth is that chaos, that noise, that collision of languages and music and food and ideas, that's not the problem. That's the engine. The real American story isn't purity, it's a remix. And the people who are afraid of it are standing on the hood, complaining about the sound while the rest of us are trying to drive.